Uh,
Shalom, shalom to all. Shalom, shalom. Hope everybody doing well today, man. We want to give all praises to the Most High. The name is Yahweh, and His only begotten Son. The world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Real name Yahweh Shah. All right. With that being said, I'm waiting for the brother to jump in. You ready to jump in, bro? Yeah, I'm just waiting for the brother to jump in today. But today, all right, cool. The brother just jumped in.
Peace. Shalom. The New Religion Network. We in full effect. We're gonna have some intellectual dialogue surrounding these topics, these emotional topics. People is going through some things right now. We just got the verdict from George Floyd, guilty on all three counts. Good news for a lot of people. Some people's frustrated with that. We woke up this morning. You have a beautiful young lady who's murdered by police. This is one of those situations. It looked like it was a fight outside. She was fighting some, and they said she was the one that actually called the police. And I don't know, from my looks of the tape, and it's crazy because I was just kind of arguing with my wife about, you know, um, I think that we have to do two things in regards to us, right, being proactive in this against this situation with police, right? And I think the two things are, one, we need to hold the police accountable for one, definitely, but which is as equally important, which we need to do is we need to be aware and adapt those customs to safeguard our life, man. Like, because at the end of the day, we're gonna have, like with this girl in particular, I was just saying, right, that she had a knife. It looked like she had a knife in her hand and was about to stab another girl. You know what I mean? So, and I'm looking at this like, of course, it wasn't justified for the police to kill her, but I'm just looking at the situation like, he had a life to save at one point, right? And now, if she could have got that knife off in that girl, that could have been, that could have been dangerous. You know what I mean? Now, yeah, he could have grabbed taser anything, but us looking at that video, you see in that moment is nothing much to do to get her off of there. And I'm not, because I got cursed out, and so I will tell you, like I told her, I'm not saying he was justified. I don't agree with it or nothing. I'm just saying that we have to, just like the same kid that was trying to run away, the 20-year-old kid that in Minneapolis post the George Floyd scene, when he was trying to get back in the car and run away. Like, I'm saying we can't play a part in you. We have to do our part, our steps to make sure that we don't fall victim to the very obvious danger that we are in when we get stopped by police and when we have these interactions with police. That's all I'm saying. So it has to be a two-part process. We have to hold them accountable, and we have to take those proper measures to not put ourselves in certain positions that we know going to be unfavorable, most likely for us as minorities, or what they call minorities.
All right, all right. I agree. I definitely agree with you. I'm not gonna dispute any of that. Um, I was just talking with a friend, and he was saying the same thing. Like, yo, he's about to stab her, and I'm saying like, yo, let's not be naive, man. I truly believe that the dude could have just grabbed them. You know what I'm saying? He could have pulled out the taser, tased her. A number of things he could have done. You know, and like you said, I do agree that there is a two parts in this. So we got to look at her and look at her
So you
movement.
think it was time to grab her though? You think he had time to do anything to prevent the girl from getting stabbed?
I'm saying this right here. I believe so. I like to believe so, but I will say this. I will say
Me
this, bro.
too. And
I
over
know they
here,
don't
I got
feel what
people around too.
excuse me.
No, I was just saying over here they agree with you. I got people
Okay.
here too. So
Yeah, yeah. No, I believe he could have grabbed her, you know what I'm saying? Or tased her. And you got to remember, these are not regular people. You know what I'm saying? These are not trained.
trained officers.
I mean, right, these are trained officers. Like, you know what I'm saying? You're not trained. You know what I'm saying? My next door neighbor, they're not trained to use firearms. But these people are trained. I was in the military, bro. I was trained to use firearms. So I know how to use it. And I know you can aim wherever you want to aim. What you see is what you get. So it's just as simple as that. So I don't speaking as somebody who was trained by the military, who's been in police shooting ranges, you know what I'm saying, who've been in multiple hours of shooting ranges. You know what I'm saying? So I know what I'm speaking of when I say when you aiming, you shoot, you practice, so it becomes second nature. So I'm telling you, bro, as a trained, if I was police, I could have shot that girl in the leg
Mm-hmm.
in 1 second and it would have been over. You know what I'm saying? But my point is this: I don't care about that. This is what I'm saying. They don't do nobody else the way they treat our. They don't police our people the same way they police everybody else. You never hear. Show me one story of anything remotely close like this happening to a Chinese person, or a Korean person, or a Jewish person, or Arab person. I would even go so far as to say a Ethiopian, a Somalian. Show me just one story for every 10 stories that I show you. Show me one. That's all I'm asking. But I give you back the floor, brother, because I'm frustrated about this.
Me too. Yes.
Okay. I don't know. Maybe I agree. And I agree with that part. They are trained officers. We're talking about trained officers here. You know what I mean? And I agree with that. But like I'm saying, we can't. You have to. Well, you don't have to agree with my point, but I would, if you could understand my point, right? That it has to be that two-part process, bro. Because listen, it's no guarantee that of what you can do to another person, right? So it has to be that two-part process. We got to hold them accountable, and we still got to take those proactive steps to make sure that we are. I don't want to say. I hate to say in compliance because it sounds so. You know what I mean? But I would say uh we have to be proactive in our steps. Because we know we're gonna catch the short end of the stick on this. And who's this? We got Dr. Greenpoint in the
Yeah, that's one of the brethren. That's one of the brethren. Let me mute myself for a second. Let me call the brother and make sure he want to jump on. All right.
okay. And so that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying to anybody. If people, y'all feel free to jump in. Anybody that want to comment or but I'm saying I'm totally in agreement with we got to hold these police accountable. That's first and foremost. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying that I'm sitting here saying that it's a two-part process that we have to do. We have to take steps to make sure that we're not endangering our lives because we know that we're gonna be catching the short end of the stick if we're in these situations with police. So I'm saying as far as like the girl looked like she was about to stab somebody. So my question was just listen, what is and I'm not saying that from a standpoint he had nothing to do. You know what he had no other possibilities, but I'm just saying from that standpoint, it looked like somebody was about to get stabbed. So what is it anything that we could let me see. We got some comment here.
So listen. Go ahead. Go
Yeah, no,
ahead.
I was just reading this comment. I agree why so many other nationalities never police the same. Are we the only ones with weapons? No, but we are the only ones that minor infractions can end in murder.
All praise. Exactly. Exactly.
True. I
That's
mean,
exactly how I feel about it.
it's definitely a state of mind approaching because these people we're dealing with people that have
I was a kid in foster care. She didn't have no state of mind.
they don't have experience dealing with us and you know what I mean, in our communities, besides what they see in the public. You know what I mean? So you know, like it's like the people, you know, the foreign community, people that come in from other countries and stuff, you know, it's a shame how we're depicted, you know what I mean, in the general public and media, movies, and we even depict ourselves in music a lot of times. But you know, so and then you know, the people here of other nationalities even have that same stigma of you know, when it comes to us. So yeah, they're gonna police us a certain way. And see, it comes to us, it comes down to us knowing that and understanding that. And that's gonna be the attitude that we have to take in order to be progressive into how we are even walking around. Listen, we gotta be more militant because they're killing us. And we know that. And that's what I'm saying. We gotta move, we gotta be more militant. That is not our fault. But if it's a war, let's fight the war and let's move militant.
All right, I got you. And this is the thing, right? Our people don't believe that we at war. You know what I'm saying? We at war. We got to come to this realization. I mean, how much
They
more do we
distracted.
want to see? You know, how much more do our people need to see? And yes, there is distractions. That's why it's called entertainment. It enters into you and entertains you, and it makes you just forget all of the misery and the oppression that our people are going through. And not only us, but specifically because it's you and I, but you know,
Right.
our people are experienced and real.
Age old tactic, man. They did it in
Right.
Rome with the Colosseum.
Exactly. It's not a new thing, man. So, you know, we gotta wake up. We gotta wake up and open our eyes to what's going on, man. I remember before George Floyd, before, you know, and Talisha, you know, the sister Talisha, she can agree. I'm sure she's seen my Facebook post for way before George Floyd died. And I kept saying, yo, don't wait till it's your family. Don't wait till it's your brother. Don't wait till it's your father, your sister, your husband, your wife. You know what I'm saying? To speak out and say something. And then George Floyd died, and everybody on Facebook is talking about that type of stuff. You know? And it's upsetting to me because, yo, damn, why did it take for this man to have to be murdered like that? Excuse me for a moment, guys. Yeah, brother.
Yeah. Okay. And that's understandable. And right now, and you know, like, and it's crazy because now we see we had the officer Carrie Horn, right, who's now getting her just due. And it's crazy we even seen the guy who she was actually saving this guy from another officer choking him out. And she said, "Man, you gonna kill this guy." She said, "Man, you gonna kill it." She said, "Man, you gonna kill this guy." She grabbed his arm. He hit her in the face, and she was fired for excessive force. You know what I mean? And I guess she tried to make a you know a problem for the officer after that, which subsequently he wound up assaulting four teenage boys later on. I guess in like 2018, which was about 10 years later, and he went to jail for that. So you know everything got rectified with her now. She's getting her pension back and everything. So shout out to her for that. Um,
All
yeah,
praise. But
Carrie L.
listen,
Horn, Officer
but, but
Carrie L. Horn.
But before I introduce Dr. Greenprint, to Greenprint, you know, but this is the thing. So in 2008, she tries to. Here it is, a black policewoman, right? A black woman first and foremost that just so happens to be a police officer, right? She stops a cop from damn near killing a man, right? She gets fired, lose her pension, everything. Boom. 10 years later, he does the white officer does what he do. Now, now in 2021, she gets her pension, she get vindicated, all because of the grassroots black media, all because of them, all because of brothers who participate in this fight against white supremacy by way of the media, because they have their wing. It's called the propaganda wing of white supremacy, is the mainstream media, your CNNs, the Caucasian News Network, the ABC, you know what I'm saying, NBC, nothing but colors, you know what I'm saying, things of that nature. So, you know, we got to be weird. They have a propaganda wing that push nothing but negative images of us, nothing but negative images, and our even so much where our young black children, they release the names of our young black children, but when it comes down to them, they never release their children's name, but they will release our children's name. You understand what I'm saying? So these are the things that we got to be aware of. We are at war undoubtedly, and we got to give respect and praise and shout out to all the brothers and sisters like Vicky Dillard, the great sister, love the sister Vicky Dillard, for fighting, putting up that fight. You know what I'm saying? Tariq Nasheed, Phil from the formerly the Avaz Show, now the African Diaspora News Network. You have brothers putting up this fight every day for us, and we got to participate, and we got to realize that we at war and there's codes of conduct, and because we don't have a code of conduct, because we don't stand on anything, we get handled the way we're handled. And this crazy part is we've been talking about this shit, excuse my French, we've been talking about this since before Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, before the 60s. Like, yo, like, when would our people wake up? Like, when will we wake up? Talisha says, let me read one of her comments. So why are they here? Let me put it up. She says, so why are they called trained professionals? and that's the thing. They're not professionals. They're trained mercenaries, man. Like, that's it. But let me introduce my brother, Dr. Green Print. Shalom, brother. How you doing?
Peace, brother. How you guys doing this morning?
All praise, all praise. Good to see you, my brother.
Word. Hey, listen, I want to follow up on something that the brother said earlier, and I heard you say,
brother.
that I think is very, very, very critical. Because me and my dad, we talk daily about some of the state of black affairs. My dad, he came out of the school of thought. He's first generation, black Muslim, and so he made just a transition. Or he's seen sort of transitions. He's seen sort of our plight in a lot of ways, and so I look up to my dad because I got like a firsthand understanding of, oftentimes like, where we have come from and then like our state right now. And something he said that really, I heard both of y'all talk about. He said, son, he said, I'm grateful, although he doesn't maintain or practice the same methodology that he practiced back in the days. He said he was grateful in the nation. They taught them how to deal with the police. They taught them. And so, brother, oftentimes I hear people talk about the way that they're reacting to us, but I never hear about the fact that we are not trained properly, not only from our parents, brother. And of course, some of our peer foundations that we have growing up. But man, we have to consider how some of us are conducting ourselves when we approach these people. Hold on, time out. Or when we are approached by them. Another thing he said, they was well trained on how to deal with the media. You mentioned the media, on how to answer questions correctly, or how not to answer questions. And if you study, brother, you'll see this. That all of them brothers back then, way before the age of having cameras, when there was a brother being abused on the street, brother, they would go to the scene to bear witness to it, either to help the brother or to take, some type of notations or something, because this was an issue even back then, and I'm sure y'all know about this because it's well recorded. But one of the issues that we have, man, and I talked to Brother Ray about this. Okay, we was talking yesterday, and I said, listen, brother, you got to be careful who it is or where your children are getting information from in terms of how to respond, how to react. And that's something that we have to come to terms with, man. That's something we have to come to. A lot of these people, a lot of people that are falling victim to this, man. There's no study. You can tell by the media, because the media loves to exploit. We ain't looking into, man, the true circumstances of the case of this individual, not just the cop. But if you get to the bottom of the individual, then we can start talking about what we have to do, man, because I can tell you something. When you look at the cases, you'll see some of the same thing, man. Some of these people are not taught properly on how to respond to these police officers, man. How to react when they pulled over. How what not to do, man. My mama told me one of the first things I was taught, was, be careful how you dress. Be careful where you stand. Always be aware of your surroundings. And some of us are out just dancing in the street, moving the tones and vibrations like we crazy. We see a police, we run to them. We want their attention. And that has to stop, bro. That has to stop. Some of us are exuding behavior that's causing problems. And we have to be trained up and brought up differently.
And
that's a big problem in our community, man. I'm serious.
Let me interject
and I'm gonna
real
say
quick,
this,
bro.
hold on. I'm gonna say this real quick. I'm gonna say this real quick. A brother just recently called me because brothers reach out to me all the time and ask me about, because there's so many different levels, you know what I'm saying, about just, when it comes to us and our development, man, first of all, they got years on us, hundreds of years. And then when you look at the disservice of having hundreds of years on the people in terms of oppression, in terms of all type of, disparities and so on and so forth, man, we in a heck of a state still to this day. We have not really addressed certain issues. But this brother told me, he said, look, man, I had to move. I said, why'd you have to move, brother? He said, because I lived in the area. My youngest son, he had dreadlocks. He said, and I feared that the area I lived in, that my son, when he was out walking and kicking it, whatever, he said, man, my son was not properly educated. And he would not listen to me about these dreads. And that in itself, think about that from a parent. His son was not willing to listen. He didn't understand the danger of just looking a certain kind of way. And that's crazy, man. That's crazy. And so, man, this goes back, I'm telling you, to some of the original things that we should have been, that some of our leaders were trying to instill in us, man. Instead, man, we're adapting this music. We're adapting these tones and vibrations, like the brother said, that got us thrown off. We should be conscious. This music is making us relax it. I mean, whatever it's doing, it's all different type of scientific, understandings from different people about what it does. But bro, we need to properly educate ourselves, man, and train ourselves. And I can understand the war, and I can understand, the revolution. But bro, we ain't even trained on proper human development.
Right.
And that's the problem when you approaching a teacher, man.
Indeed.
Damn if he disrespect an officer, man, these kids are disrespecting teachers. They should get knocked out in the classroom before they even touch the street and get hit by a gun, man.
You know what? Let me ask you a question. Come to think about it.
And that's the problem. Hold on, bro. If your son ain't listen to a teacher, he might get killed, brother.
Okay.
He might get killed if he ain't going to school.
Let me ask you a question.
He don't even know how to act and sit down in a classroom. And you think that this same individual going to the streets and may be on the bus stop acting a fool on a bus stop and get killed? We not trained up properly, man. Hold on, bro. We letting our kids go out to the. Hey, listen, we giving our kids to these people, man. Giving them to them, bro, to get ate up like wolves, and that starts with the leadership. That starts with the with the father, with the parent. There's a couple things we have to go to before we address this, man, about our children, bro. When you go back to the original studies of some of these brothers, man, I'm telling you.
Go ahead, bro.
Hey, Doc, hold on, Doc. Let me ask you this real quick, bro. And me knowing you personally, me and you've done. We've had a multitude of discussions concerning, religion and all this and the third. But I want to ask you about the Nation of Islam, about specifically, how does the nation raise their brothers up? I remember we was in a gas station the other day, like last couple of weeks ago, and we was talking about the peanuts and stuff. And you was telling me like, yo, it's so many words that you don't even know. Do you remember that, bro?
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. So can you speak on that? Can you speak on, how the nation and NOI raise their brothers that, from children and learn certain things about their diet and XYZ, and just far as the training aspect of it, not so much of the religious aspect, but more of the training.
Right.
Well,
because it's critical, because I kept hearing y'all talk about war, and I kept hearing you talk about, and not, there's different levels of war, I mean, not just say, just the physical aspect of, enacting or exacting retribution, or, exacting some, some territorial philosophical belief that, I own this, or I believe I have a right to this. There's different reasons to fight wars, but we know the coldest war within ourselves is a spiritual warfare. And so I'm far removed from the nation, but I'm not necessarily far removed from my upbringing because I still maintain some of those things. And so I was raised, you know, in some of the teachings of the nation. And my father, he also was, you know, part of that at one point. But one of the things, and it wasn't just the nation, brother. It was a few of our black organizations that understood that if you let somebody feed us, there's a problem, brother. If we let these people, that's why I asked you the other day. I said I was arguing with somebody that called themselves a revolutionary and was eating food from an oppressor. That don't make no sense to me. That you ain't even teaching them to read labels, and we was taught to read labels when we was in the nation, bro. To walk up to some toothpaste and be able to read that and say, hold on, sir. I noticed something on here says sodium toluate. So what does this mean? So we ain't being taught, bro. See, so there was just this same revolution, and I want to answer your question, but this same revolutionary brother that was talking about he had a problem with the system was working, was paying taxes into the same oppressive system. We was never taught that. You was taught to be a merchant on the street, to build yourself up from the knowledge of self, doing yourself, understanding how to grow your own food for self, how to eat to live. And so we ain't man, bro, if you still got brothers running around, man, listen, because you know this as well as I know, that you can control a person by his stomach. Straight up. You control one by his stomach. All right. So listen, so when you got people talking about, oh man, you know, certain things don't matter, man, this is a person who don't understand the universe then. And so I just say that to say that the teachings, man, I'm not necessarily I don't necessarily agree with everything that that the minister says. I mean, that's just my personal thing. But I don't talk against that brother openly. That ain't my position. I don't do that. Like
never,
you said,
bro. You know I'm a Hebrew Israelite, bro. But listen, man. Yeah, that's the one thing you can't talk about Farrakhan to me. Nobody can talk.
No. I mean, we're not here to do that.
I disagree, bro. We're not here to do that. You know what I'm saying? But no, like, listen, that man has been fighting for our people, talking this talk. I'm 40, way before me. You know what I'm saying? So we don't. That's a true leader. You understand what I'm saying? Jay-Z is not no damn leader. You understand what I'm saying?
Right. But let me say this real quick. So just to answer your question, so we don't get ahead, it's critical to unlearn and relearn, bro. And so teachings, essentially, if you don't catch a child, okay, at the developmental level or at the developmental stages, then you have to apply an unlearn and relearn principle. Derek Grace Jr. talks about it all the time. Shout out to him. So, those teachings, which that you were talking about, that's what we lacking a lot of, man. We don't even, again, man, people sending their children out to get killed and don't know it. We went and bought him them tennis shoes, them oppressive tennis shoes. Went and bought him that oppressive clothing. That same clothing that killed him. A young boy just graduated from Marquette High School in Wisconsin, got killed over Cartier glasses. The same mother just saving some money. So, man, we've been programmed and taught that we setting our kids up for death. And so the teachings, and I ain't necessarily, I'm not trying to create a platform for no particular individual, whether it's Farrakhan or whether it's Islam. I'm a practicing Muslim or no Hebrew. We're not talking about none of that. We're just talking about how they've been raised up, bro. And that which you have to raise will not rise. See, we think these kids gonna rise up. No, the sun rises, that which Allah has commanded to do so. But anything else, man, you got to put the work in. You got to raise it up. And we're not doing that. We're sending our children out to almost a battlefield because we up on some type of site. I don't know what, some of us is up on who knows what. Drugs, alcohol, music, all the tools and the trappings of the, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to say the same time. I don't want to get the popping. But that's real, brother. Lack of teaching. Lack of teachings, man. We ain't been taught how to eat properly. We eat no oppressor's food. And I ain't trying to get all like that. But straight up, brother, think about this. So that's what I was saying, man. I was saying, hey, man, I oftentimes talk to brothers And if you ask them something, sometimes they'll get in their feelings. Like oftentimes, oh man, no, that don't matter. Yes, it does matter. If it didn't matter, then why is it that some of our founding, I'm talking about some of our original leaders for the nations that we have amongst our black nations, whether it's the Hebrew Israelites, man, let's go to the Bible. Diet is talked about. Let's go to any aspect of people. I'm talking about of a leader who understood that, man, and every aspect of human or proper human development was discussed, man, in the methodology. And if it wasn't there, man, you left somebody open, or you left it open for someone to come in and infiltrate you. Because if you ain't gonna tell me that, man, that when you was young and your mama didn't have food and the neighbor did, boy, man, do you know the power of that? That if the neighbor was able to feed you over your mama, do you know who you would have been? Man, please. It may have been one brother who would have probably been woke. I don't know. But man, the majority of y'all would have gravitated towards the neighbor. And so the power of just food, the power of resources. And that same revolutionary brother I'm in with this was asking me the question. I'm in with this. He was asking me, brother, let me ask you a question. Is it relevant to build, finances in order for us to achieve our plight, or in order for us to get somewhere? He questioned whether or not money mattered. Man, you damn right.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
So right. So people want to have it both ways, man. People want to scream one thing, but then look at the fact that, oh man, where you get your food source from? Are you following that supply chain? Yeah, brother's not even recognized.
Exactly. Now I'm with you on that. You like
some food. Hey, listen, you eat some food that can be putting you in a state of mind that's causing some issues for you. Yeah, got you moving and grooving in a certain kind of way. And so, it's pretty much the teachings is to answer your question, man. It's so critical that we unlearn and relearn, bro. Before we even, I'm scared to go to war with some of these brothers. While we talking about war and all that, yeah, they can't even sustain. They don't even know how to fast long enough. They're being controlled by their stomachs. Straight up. So that's
hey,
nasty. Think about that.
Hold on, let me get brother Bonds in here, and because I want to hear what he got to say on this.
I just was saying, I agree with what he was saying about going to war with some of these brothers, man. But listen, we understand that that's because dudes damaged from a spiritual aspect. But what I was saying is too, like, and that's basically the gist, like, ignorance. You know what I'm saying? Is what ultimately got us in this position. And as far as us doing that two-part process as holding the police accountable for you know what I'm saying, is watching the way we interact, you know what I'm saying, and that's being more militant, and that's just, and that comes with knowledge, you know what I'm saying, that comes with the wisdom. So those things, like, you know what I'm saying, that the brothers doing, those things of coming together as a community and being resourceful for ourselves and stuff like that, that's gonna make us stronger, and that's gonna garner the respect of the other, of other nationalities around us. Like, you know what I mean, right now, and that's due to our circumstance in this country. Like, you know what I'm saying, this is residual effects of systematic oppression and racism in this country, of why we even police this way, you know what I'm saying. But moving forward, we have to have a two-part plan, holding them accountable and us getting better. Like, that got to be a big part of the conversation as well too, not just, you know what I mean, holding the officer accountable, like, oh, they doing, yeah, they're gonna keep on doing that. We got to push back in more than one way, you know what I'm saying.
Yes, I agree. I
agree. One of the things, hey, listen, let me ask you a question, man. Like, a lot of people don't, like, a lot of people talk about, some of the occurrences, and because I had to ask my dad, hey man, stuff is, if stuff is like this, give me a glimpse of how it was back in the days. And it's like, what, man, stuff was rough, especially in areas like California, New York, Michigan, Chicago. We had some serious cases, man. And of course the South, everybody knows about the South. But one of the things that I often ask people, I say, man, do you know why the Panthers were so much of a threat? And often people say, oh man, because they was They was into bearing arms. Nah, brother, what that was one aspect of a threat. Now, all those brothers, I give them a lot of credit, but when you start really looking deep into it, nobody was perfect. So, there was drugs and alcohol back then. Some of our leaders was involved in drugs and alcohol, but so they was up to be infiltrated from the aspect of the guns, and because the police was able to say, okay, hey, well, we know that Huey might be using this, and he's telling the people this, or we know that Bobby might be doing this, but he got 3-4 women, right? The greatest threat, exponential threat, was that they was feeding children, bro. They was see. They have food programs where we look towards them.
That's a fact.
Hold on, let me tell you something,
we
now,
just
brother.
seen that in the movie.
Hold on, brother. Let me show you something though. Real talk, because and that's another thing. See, like I told this brother this recently, man. You watch this movie and you think you know something, huh? This is a young brother. He ain't read nothing. He didn't read what these brothers was designed or trying to go to. Right. They was never trying to establish stuff here, bro. They was trying to get out of here because they understood it. How you gonna do something here? You know what I'm saying? Garvey understood that, and a lot of them by nature was Garveyites. They was kicking something else, but we talking about by their very nature. And your very nature is to return to the fitra. And the fitra is your original state, back where you came from. So I just want to say this real quick. The fact that, again, when your neighbor is feeding you, man, you can look at your mother with disdain. And we know this coming out the crack era, coming through all the eras that these eras they exacted upon us.
So let me ask you.
Let me finish this real quick. So when we had started looking towards our black leaders as, man, they feeding us, that was a threat, bro. That's a threat.
Okay, so look,
that's a threat.
Let me clarify. I want you to clarify something though. So you're saying basically that this is in the fabric of America.
And, absolutely. And your wife would do that. I hate to say that. Your wife would go to the white man before she go. Your wife would go to the white man on you. Yes. Will give you up.
So you don't see it. You don't see. You think this is. You don't see a way out this in as being a part of it. You feel like our way is.
Oh no, I'm not saying that, but I'm talking about we have to talk about the dynamics of the essence. See, oftentimes, I would never talk war with my son yet. My son ain't ready to go to war yet. He's still, listen, my son is still a cub, man. Right. He's still getting built up right now. I was telling somebody the other day, I said, he's still getting built up. Straight up. My son had an encounter with the cops at 13 years of age, man, and he's a little person. A little person is a person that won't grow to be over 4 feet 8 by nature. Okay? Right. Dwarfism, whatever you want to use. But right. my son and his partner, who was a Latino young boy, was walking home from school. He throws a rock. His friend throws a rock. Police come to the grandmother's house because they kind of had an idea. We know this little young boy, but my son was with him. We receive a phone call because my son won't answer questions. Okay, his partner tells the police in front of his grandmother. My son better not even talk in front of them. I'm like, I told my son, all right, cool. He told the truth in front of his grandmother. I told my son he was trained. You don't speak in front of them at all till we get away from them, man. And when I got there, I had to talk to these people. His mother had to talk to him, but he still didn't have nothing to say to these people. And man, if you don't train your son up correctly, see, again, man, we send our kids out. And so we have to start, training our people before we put them out here, man. And we have to start conditioning them or unlearn and relearn. But because we've been conditioned. We've been conditioned to go to them. Hey, listen, our brother, I'm going to tell you the coldest thing that's going on right now. I don't mean to jump the subject, but our women, like we think we got our women, but we got a bunch of Lot wives, bro. With all due respect. Not all of us, but some of us is rocking with Lot's wife. And if you understand the story of Lot, where she was with him, but her heart was somewhere else. Her heart was somewhere else because, so, man, our women is emulating the oppressor's wife. Our women wants to be like we so conditioned that our women wants to look like they women. And so we have to unlearn and relearn, brother. There's
Okay,
no
so
way
That
that we
is
can,
true.
let me
yeah, there's no way that we can
Facts.
talk this. Hey, listen, and I'm not knocking the situation, but we have to start putting that out there. That is so critical.
nah,
These young
that's a
black
fact.
African Americans are being trained, like my dad said, and this is one of the reasons that they was saying to the nation, "Hey, y'all, come over here and get some training," because they was getting took out back in the days on the same premise, bro. The police was lynching brothers on the same premise because when they encountered the police, they had trauma, and you when you got trauma, brother. See, you can react a lot of ways when you have trauma. See, let's talk about stuff. And we talk about it we talk about that on a different day because this ain't the subject. And like I said, I didn't want to go down a crazy road.
Right.
But
All right,
brothers,
hold on. Let me just get another in. Let me get this brother.
I was
I
about,
got my brother right here.
hey,
Um,
Shalom, brother. How you doing?
Rosewood. I just want to tap him
What
in
up, Bob?
and get his perspective, man. You know, we just Makai Bryant. I know you. I know you probably seen the video. She got killed by the police. She was at a house. She
Yeah.
called police actually, fighting with some other young girls. Looked like she was
Okay.
approaching to stab one of the young girls, and you know, the cops shot her
Uh,
a few times. So I don't know. Of course, it's bigger than that. Of course, it's so much more people, so
yeah.
much names. You know, we just got the
Right.
George Floyd verdict in. You know, the
Right.
streets is crazy right now. Everybody, he's in
Right.
Arizona.
It's yeah.
What's going on, man?
Yeah. The emotions right now in the streets is like real raw right now. Like it's like real raw. Like I won't say it's tension all in the air, but that's the emotional state of people in black people in the urban communities is real raw right now. You know, with the verdict, with DMX passing, Black Rob passing. You know, here in Philly, we got a major homicide problem. You know, more homicides than days. We had 500 last year, and nobody has an answer. You know, the politicians don't, and then they don't want to connect with the people on the streets. Like y'all see, I'm in the hood. You know, like I just got out. I'm like I come from my hood, go to another hood. Like I'm gonna stay doing community work. But one thing I will say is the guy that was just talking or whatever. My bad for not saying your name, bro. But you right, it's woven into the fabric of America, and we gotta unlearn to relearn. Like we gotta unlearn it, like all that other nonsense, and be retaught for real over again. Like, and we really need, it's kind of hard because we got a lot of the brothers like that would be supposed to be doing that. They're either dead or in jail, and that was designed that way. So that '94 crime bill really set it up for that was a precursor for what we're going through now. It's just we have the internet so we can research stuff and have more knowledge on things. And you can do your own homework. So like the situation is just real raw out here in the streets right now. Everybody's emotion is raw. As far as like, race relations, put it like that. Even though the cop boy got off, we still got the lady cop that shot main man or whatever. She thought she had the taser, but she had the gun. You know, now we got her situation. It's like it never stops. Like all right, boy got convicted, but right after that, y'all kill another black man. So it's like the situation is just raw in the community. Yeah, it's a lot of variables or whatever. But one thing I can say is yes, the situation is woven into the fabric of America. That's all it is. And at the same time, we gotta unlearn to relearn.
Yo, Rosewood, let me say this real quick, right? Because we say we use code when I hear brothers say like yo it's woven into the fabric. Go ahead and mute your mic for a second, brother. Let me say that everybody when it's your time to talk, everybody else mute your mics, and so get the brothers they proper due respect. But nonetheless, we use words like is woven into the fabric of the society. This is the way it is. Things of that nature. What is that called? That's called white supremacy. So let's stop playing games with the terminology. Let's call a spade a spade. Let's call a duck, and let's call white supremacy what it is when you see it.
It is. It is. It is.
Yeah, brother, you got it. No, you want to
Hey,
interject, please.
no, I'm saying no. I'm saying you're exactly right. I was just going off the words my brother said when I
No,
tapped in, whatever.
indeed,
But
indeed.
definitely that is definitely white supremacy all the way around the world. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, bro.
And that's my point about us being got coming to the realization that we at war. When you at war, there is no sugarcoating. When you at war, there is no dancing and partying and all of this stuff. I'm not telling people not to live their life. I'm saying be aware that we at war. Be aware of the images you put out in the world. Like, dude, like, you know, Rosewell, we met a couple weeks ago, but these other two brothers, they know me. They know my life. They know my story. So regardless of how I perceive, how I put myself out there in the world, I'm a totally different person when this camera go off. So let's be clear about that. So now the image that I'm gonna put out to the world though is I'm not gonna be a no clown. I ain't dancing. I'm not wearing no diapers in public and all of this stuff is stresses that these rappers and athletes is doing. I'm not doing that because that is a tool of white supremacy. But I'm gonna let somebody else speak. Let,
True.
let's
And I just before my bad bonds, I just want to say real quick.
Tap in, bro.
Not yes, it is a tool of white supremacy, but I'm not compromising my integrity as a black man, bro. I'm not compromising my integrity as a black man. Because right here, this concrete right here in Philadelphia, you can't compromise at all. You can't compromise your integrity at all, yo. Like, and it's just like it's just the way it is. And here in Philadelphia, we stand on that, and that go back to my pop and them in the '60s and before my pop, my uncles in the '40s and '50s pushing the same thing when they had the gangs. So it's the same thing, but it's just we lost that part of ourselves with brothers getting locked up, brothers dying or whatever. But I think we can bring that back, man, with proper channels like what Bonds got going on right now. I think we can bring that type of knowledge, that insight back, that feeling of being loving yourself.
Yeah,
I
that
think that's where it
intellectual
started.
dialogue.
Loving yourself.
Yeah, let that spark some awareness because if you listen to,
Yeah.
you may watch certain things that they put on the internet and then go outside with a certain mind state. If you have an
Mm.
intellectual dialogue, hopefully you'll go outside with that mind state. Whoever the people that's watching, Facebook, and YouTube, and all that, yeah, jump in these comments, jump into this dialogue. This is for you tap in, man. Say something. Let's talk. Let's build on this. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Whatever
let's
side
build.
you want. If you agreeing with, if you pro police, whatever, like let's talk about it. Let's have some dialogue.
Whatever, yeah, let's talk about it.
You know
Let's
what I'm
talk
saying?
about it. Because if we don't communicate, how do you think we can even progress? We gotta communicate amongst ourselves and amongst our peers.
Because
Older, younger.
in my opinion, it's not really a race thing. See, and like I was saying, I don't know if you heard this in the last
Mm,
show, but
mm,
when I was saying like it's not a race thing, but it is a race thing because
mm-hmm.
like it's we know if you
Sir, where you going?
truly understand that it's not a race thing, it's about good and evil. You know what I mean? But with that said, we still got to understand that living in America, we do have people that are under the assumption that they are better than somebody because of their race. So, and things have gotten to such a bad place in this country, especially because of race, that we do have a race problem that we have to acknowledge. But I would think in acknowledging that, we should all understand that it's not really about race, that we don't, you know what I'm saying, war against the race, especially when it comes to this, with this police thing. I feel like even at these protests, you see a lot of white people at these protests, a huge amount of white people at this protest. They had, and that George Floyd trial, they had the jury, they had 6 white people, 4 black people, and like 2 mixed race. But and I kind of joked like, man, I bet you if I had to count on 2 people in there stalling them out for those drinking please, it probably wouldn't have been the black people, like, you know what I'm saying? Which is, and you can't say that because that's, that was a joke, but that's, that would be reverse racism. But just but actually, just realistically speaking, let's understand that it's not about race, but we do have that race problem. But
I mean,
Now,
I'm hold on, everybody. I want to get Dr. Greenprint and back in. Got Dr. Cream Print. You there?
Yeah. I'm here.
Yeah. Let me. Everybody, mute their phone. Let me get this brother's comment. It's kind of a lot of background noise.
Hey,
Hey,
listen. I'm sorry.
yeah, brother, you got the floor.
No, I can hear you.
Yeah, I want you to respond to that. Him saying it's not a race thing.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna tell you why. See, I think it is a race thing personally. I mean, for one, I'm not anti-police. I'm not. I'm not anti-military. I have a lot of, law enforcement officers in my family. My grandfather started with him. He was in the military. It inspired a lot of my cousins, to sort of enlist. In fact, my daughter, she's strongly considering, because she has a young cousin who's a police officer in Milwaukee, and he went on to go to the military. So, I'm not anti any of those establishments or any of that stuff, those institutions. But race is a global thing. Racism is a global thing. And the only thing to me that makes it a little different is this, and somebody spoke about this. There's 11, 12, 13, because we just start kicking statistics too. Sometimes it helps. So let's kick statistics. In London, you might have 14, 15,000 stabbings a year because of their gun laws. All right. In America, you have far more guns. I mean, guns than anybody else in America, in the world. So we can, things a little different. But you can't say that the problem ain't the same. Same cracker, different rapper, brother. Same cracker, just a different rapper. And I'm not trying to be, hip-hop-ish or, like I'm coming from the Bronx, like that, right?
No, definitely.
But, right? But
no.
This is the same thing, man. It's the same institution. Because I can call it apartheid.
Yeah. No,
I can call it. Hold on. I can call it apartheid. I can call it a whole bunch of things because right now in Somalia, right now in other countries where people have darker skin, you have northerners, lighter skinned northerners running these people out. So we talking about race? Yeah, we got to talk race. Now, let's kick something real quick because the brother made a point. You're right. You have white people in these crowds. Again, this young revolutionary, he brought this up. He said, I feel like I'm the same person as that person that stormed the Capitol. I said, you is? Now, mind you, the African-American saying that he was sort of responding to the same thing that those people were responding to that stormed the Capitol. So they kind of were the same frustrations. And so he was trying to equate the fact that there's white people amongst their group that are marching with them, that this isn't about race. This is about, the institution. But they would have you believe that, brother. And I don't want to go hard. Like I said, we talking about one thing today. We talking about, the sister and what, and cop. But I disagree that race isn't the issue. That this isn't a thing about race. I totally disagree with that. Because there are a few whites walking amongst us, or because we have a jury, or where, that's fine. I mean, I can go with that. But it's almost hold on. But it's almost like the person. Hold on. Let me just say something. It reminds me of the person. It reminds me of the person who says that I'm not racist because I have a. It reminds me of the person that says I'm not racist because I have a couple of black friends, and that ain't what removes your racism. I'm sorry. That's a personal relationship you got with that person, or you got a personal emotional attachment to that.
Agreed. Hey, brother,
You understand what I'm saying? But racism, brother, hold on. But let me say this: racism is something different. When you go to when we inject the word race, brother, it calls for some explanation. Okay, and I'm gonna tell you something. Race is a globe. The thing that we're dealing with our, with this skin color. All right, this is a global thing, and this global thing is associated with the same supremacy. It's associated with supremacy. It all goes back to white supremacy. And if race didn't matter, Jesus said, "Be black." And on every picture that you saw, brother, if race didn't matter, we would have been had a black Jesus everywhere.
Exactly.
If race didn't matter,
exactly.
But brother, it matters.
Exactly, brother. Hey, brother Bones, unmute your mic.
I want to. My bad. I want to respond to what Dr. Greenprint was saying, but I want to get Rosewood's take on the race situation as
Now,
well.
I would like to interject as well. But
Okay,
go
yeah,
ahead,
you can go first.
please,
Yeah,
yeah,
Rosa, please.
all right,
yeah, I just got, yeah, I'm not going to be too long on it. I just want to say, like, Boz, I understand where you was coming from. What you said is about race, but it's not. It's not, and it's about race, yes, but it's also about class and caste. Like, we're in the class system and the caste system.
That's the same thing, bro.
So yeah, they're one and the same thing, but they're two different things. So I look at it like white people don't understand that we're in that type of war too, a class and a caste war. So yes, it's about race, but at the same time, it's about class and caste because they don't want any middle class. They want it to really be like RoboCop. They want to be either you rich and it's poor and nothing else. They don't want this right here. They don't want this. This is middle class. I'm in Germantown right now in Philadelphia. I'm on Chew Ave. Like they don't want this right here. They don't want this type of community. They want to erase this. They want us in the slums or whatever. So yeah, it is a race thing, but it's also a class and a caste thing. So that's what I wanted just to interject on
But
that.
all that's saying is that you did. All that's saying is you getting too close to them, brother. A class is designed. See, classism. See, I'm gonna tell you one of the biggest caste systems that you can see in the world right now is in India, and then there's a couple other
True,
countries. Okay,
true.
but brother, this is
hmm
associated with supremacy, man. It still goes back to
You no,
supremacy. That means, hey, listen,
no,
middle
you're
class
right.
mean, hey, listen, middle class mean you getting too close to us, and we don't. And what we want to do, we want to eliminate the middle class because that's giving you a step up to us, brother. Hey,
No,
but
you're
see,
right.
listen, those are semantics.
Uh,
Those are semantics that they use. See, classism, racism, man, let's just say supremacy. Supremacy. If we use the term supremacy and you study supremacy and you look at the global supremacy agenda, the global supremacy complex, any of it, brother, all these words are words that just evolved over time to synthesize and equalize the mind. Oh, here's another. It's just like we created a third political party. Oh, here goes something new. It's the same cracker, different rapper. Democrat, Republic is the same plane, different wings, bro. And I ain't trying to go too hard right now, but that's just a fact. That's a fact. And my brother from Philly, I appreciate you. I appreciate you saying, speaking about your, how you was raised up. Because like my father, like I say, man, they were stomping in Philly, stomping in Harlem with the brothers, man. And I'm gonna tell you, man, to a certain degree, even the leaders back then got us to a certain point. But man, we really did because like we went on to, my father, he ended up, he ended up following Malcolm's plight, so on and so forth. And we accepted Islam from a totally different perspective, but just the teachings, bro, man, I'm gonna tell you, they can cloak it in something else. I'm gonna tell you what's gonna be cloked in next. They're cloaking in something, and we won't even recognize it. We won't even recognize it, man. And that's what I'm saying. It's just gonna be a different word, a different term. It's the same cracker, different rapper.
Hey, brother, let me interject, right? If I could, is that okay? So here is the thing, man, and that's what I said, man. We got to open our eyes and we got to open our eyes and be realistic about the situation, bro. We're at war. I don't care about no class system. I don't care about no caste system. I don't care about no jobs, no this, no that. Everything in America and globally is controlled and dominated by white supremacists. So when you even talk about the class system, when we talk about the class system in India, who colonized India? Who
The
taught them
British. The British.
exactly? Who taught them how to be? The British. White supremacy.
Yeah.
So I don't care when we talk about Japanese, Japan, China, all these different places, and there is no place that the white supremacist has not stepped a foot on and not have rape, rob, pillage, and taught the people their ways, and
That's
then they continue it to this day. Okay, boss, you was trying to say something?
Oh my bad. All right, so we know how that is. We know how that is. Sorry to get Rosewood. All right, so we know how that has come about, right? Because, like I said, it is racial, but it's not racial. And the part that I say is not racial because it's a thing of good and evil. Now, if we go back to a history of good and evil, then we would learn like right like something like the Bible, history of the Bible would tell you that uh the original man, right, had the covenant with God, right? So science would tell you, and if not just the Bible, that original man was black, right? So now, if knowing that those who were, I would say, working in accordance with original man, but not original man, was set to be gaining control of original man due to original man's transgressions based on the history, then it would further show us that okay, it's not about it's okay, it's about race now, but that's not how it started, and that's not how it's gonna end, right? So let's say that then. I'll just say that
Yeah,
it's
nah,
about
yeah,
race
yeah.
now,
And you,
but it didn't
and to me,
start
it
like
sounds like
that. And then tackling race is not gonna fix it. You know what I'm saying?
okay. Hold on. Let me say this real quick. But Dr. Green Print, you got the floor next, please. But let me say this real quick. If we're talking spirituality, that's what you're talking spirituality. You want to go into the spiritual aspect of things, and that's fine. We can do that.
Well,
But
knowledge in general, because
yeah,
it
all right.
doesn't. You
Let
know,
me say this real quick, bro.
yeah.
But check me out, right? Let's just look at the history of the white supremacists. Let's look at their history. There is no white history prior to Greece. Show me white people's history prior to Greece. It doesn't exist at all. Is all that shit. Anything that they talk about prior to
Facts.
the Greco-Roman Empire, it did not exist. That's made up history. It's fake, it's fraudulent, it doesn't exist. So now when we look at the Greeks, what did the Greeks do? Where did they go? The Greeks came, according to history and the Bible, they came to what we know as
Egypt.
Africa.
Egypt.
No, the land of Africa, the continent. The continent of Africa, they took over the continent of Africa. The Romans came after them. The Greeks is a extension of Rome. Rome is an extension. America is an
Everything
extension
great from
of
Greece
Rome.
was stolen. Yeah, the astrology, they stole that from
Yeah,
it.
exactly. And that's what I'm
the
saying. So
art,
when we're looking at,
philosophers,
hold on,
everything.
listen, hear me out. When we're talking good and evil, let's just look at the history of white people as a whole. Not the white neighbor that's your individual, the white individual neighbor next door that who did nothing to you, like my man Bronson White, who did
Before
nothing.
you go there,
No, but this is what it is. Let me finish my thought, bro. Please.
red
Because
light.
this is what it is. Hold on. This is what it is. I'm talking about history, bro. Saying nothing but because we talking about evil, good versus evil. Well, let's look at a group of people and let's look at their actions. From Greece all the way to now, bro, their actions has been the same: homosexuality, rape, rob, murder, pillage the land, steal the information, pass it off as their own. This is factual, and we ain't got to really go into it. Let's just look. $5 Indians. Everybody has heard the term of a $5 Indian. What really is it? It's a white person who went down because they was giving out land allotments to native so-called Native Americans. They went down with $5, paid $5 to get their name on a list. Now today their descendants are called Native Americans, and they're not. They're Europeans, bro. So again, they go to a land, rape, rob, pillage, murder, steal the land, steal the people's identity, and oppress the people. So here we are now.
Okay.
So
Now let me do one thing.
wickedness, bro.
Let me say one thing. Dr. Greenprint, right? You have I don't know if you read this comment, but this comment is directed at what you said, and it kind of go along with what we said, right? So can you see that, Doc?
Yes, sir.
You want to
Hey, brothers, I'm gonna step away for a second, okay? Excuse me.
You
Yeah,
want to
yeah. Well, and what I mean, shout out to all the sisters, man. This is no, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. We're only talking about, we're going back to the unlearn and relearn process. That what we've been taught and conditioned to. So a lot of our sisters have been conditioned and taught, and it's not your fault, sisters. A lot of us have chased these women. You saw us betray you for these women. You have saw us with these women under no type of marital. I'm talking about just practice infidelity, whatever you want to call it. Cheat. All right. Honor them more.
Okay.
What's going on?
Okay. All right, hold on. Maybe we got a little. All right, maybe we got a little technical difficulty with the bro. He fell through. Uh, Maybe we got a little. All right, Rose, would you still there? All right, but I'll pick it up anyway. Let's get back to this white supremacy and the narrative that a lot of black women want to look or act like other races. Can you explain? Well, from my standpoint, I mean, I wouldn't say they want to look like women from other races. I would say it's in a woman's uh, DNA. To they want to be revered and loved. You know what I'm saying? Now, the problem is the standards, what we have qualified as beautiful, right? And women are trying to get that thrown. So I don't think it's necessarily trying to, you know, look like another nationality. They're just trying to look like what they see as beautiful, what the world recognizes as
So
beautiful.
you're saying you don't recognize black people as beautiful?
I recognize black people as beautiful. I'm saying the world doesn't recognize black as beautiful. You know what I mean? So they recognize black and it's synonymous with the darkness and things like that. You know what I'm saying, Rosewood? You gotta
That's
unmute your
facts.
mic.
No, that's facts. The world. Like I'm never gonna look at it like that, and nobody in Philadelphia is ever gonna look at it like that. But as far as the world, white supremacy is a worldwide thing, and like my brother was speaking before, when we want to talk history, it goes back way, way, way so long. It's entrenched. It's entrenched in the worldwide society. Period. You know, like the first caste system was in India, putting the black dot on your head meaning you bad, white meaning you good, and all that, or whatever. One thing I would like to just ask, like how do we get to the point where we can start finding some solutions to these things where we can basically empower ourselves and then we can take that empowerment and
There
spread
we
it
go.
to all
Now
the
we
other communities in the urban cities, and then we can touch those communities that's like, say, like Erie, Pennsylvania, where you have black people but it's surrounded by nothing but other white counties.
bring us
So
around
we
that
want
corner.
to, how do we come up with solutions, and then after we come up, it's like a two-part question. After we come up with some type of solutions, how do we spread that through these communities, so it's like each one teach one, so we can like unlearn to relearn.
Okay, yeah, I and I definitely agree. Speaking. Let me just use myself as a litmus test, right? Speaking for myself. So, um,
Hmm.
when I came into the truth, the knowledge of the truth of who we are as a people, the first thing I had to realize is everything I learned about this world, I had to throw it away. That's just dealing with the religious aspect of things, right? My I'm using the word religious loosely, but that's my faith base. You know what I'm saying? So faith wise and who I am as a human being, where we come from, our history, that changed me, right? That was one thing. But then I had a conversation with my brother, and my brother taught me about white supremacy. And he opened my eyes and he said, "Yo, take those rose colored glasses off, bro. Take them off, man. Really look at the world. Look what's going on." I remember arguing him about putting our money into a black bank. I remember arguing him, bro. You know what I'm saying? So I say all that to say, once he started showing me, I had to relearn everything I had learned. The great elder Nellie Fuller Jr. says, if you don't know what white supremacy is slash racism, white supremacy is, what it is and how it works, then everything you know will only confuse you. So if you can't recognize white supremacy in all things, then it's gonna confuse you for the things you know. You know, uh, uh, um, you want to respond to that, Rosewood? Yeah, you want to respond? I don't want to take up too much of the floor.
I ain't answering.
Yeah, you gotta unmute your mic. Yeah,
No,
you gotta,
no, 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 no,
okay.
no, no. You're not taking too much of the floor, bro. Like, but no, but like, you're right. Like when you take those rose-colored glasses off, and you see for what it really is, then you have a whole nother mind state on or outlook on all situations. You exit the spirituality out of it, and you say, listen, let's look at this on a ground basis, like on a straight ground level basis, like the root cause of certain things. Like, and you have to realize, like, okay, it's not set up for us at all. So now I almost look at it like, listen, we gotta work the system. That's like anybody else that work the system. There's loopholes in the system. We just gotta work it to our advantage. And that's how I look at it. Like you said, if we at war, one of the tactics at war is using things to your advantage. So I'm looking at like, all right, the system that's in place, all right, where are the things that we can use to our advantage so that we can come up and make ourselves better brothers?
I agree. Well, I mean, if I may say this real quick, because can everybody hear me? Okay,
You
listen.
good?
So, yeah, if I may say this, man, it's it's easier said than done, okay? Because when we talk about the the unlearn and relearn process, that is a process in itself, man. That is a discipline within itself. You know what I mean? The brother
Yes.
said that you have to
Facts.
actually, you know, it's like martial arts. When you go into martial arts, they say, yo, forget everything you think you know about fighting. They say, forget everything you think you ever. I mean, you could be the coldest boxer on the block, but when you come up in here under this dojo, forget everything you think you know about fighting, or you thought you knew about fighting. And what happens from that point on is a unlearn and relearn process, and it ain't easy. I mean, if any of y'all went through the trainings, you get tapped
Facts.
up.
Facts.
You try street tactics, the sensei, he dismantle. I mean, he tear you up, and so that goes on with your teacher. You can walk in your teacher's class. You can think you know something, and it's the same thing. You raise your hand, think you know something. No, sir, the answer is not correct. Okay, so I was telling the brother yesterday. I said, look, man, I had to admit that I'm not fit all the way to raise my son. I said, now a lot of brothers know me to be knowledge, sound, study the Quran, make the Salah, fast in Ramadan, all the disciplines that you can think of. And I told that brother that I didn't feel that I was fit all the way to raise my son, and I would use my money and my resources to put him in position with the teachers, the scholars. So even my son, man, even I'm going through a unlearned process as a father. What I thought I knew as a father. Like I come out of a strong village, but this is something that we have to do and peel back years of, bro. They got 500 years on us.
Yeah.
Years, man.
Facts.
Years of a systematic. I mean, we talking about, and again, right
It's a
now,
long time.
a long time. And so
That's a long time.
right. So the unlearn and relearn process is so critical. It's so critical. It's so critical, man.
Yes.
And
It
so
is.
I
It
just want to
is.
say this because I got
It ain't
cut
been
off.
but
Because
100 years.
I want to say this because I got cut off to that sister. That it's not all on the sisters, man. That also is associated the fact that they wearing their hair like they wearing it. Beautiful, man. They're all beautiful. The fact that they emulating and putting stuff in their bodies. This is not of our nature. That's not of our nature. That's not of our nature.
Let
And
me
so,
pose a question. Let me pose a question real quick, brother.
yeah.
Because I want to get back, like she said, let's get back to white supremacy and the narrative that a lot of black women wants to look or act like other races. Can you explain what you mean by
Yeah.
this? So I'm of that belief as well. When I see women with blonde hair, I'm
Yeah.
saying that's
Right.
not our natural state of hair as
No,
our
it's
people.
not.
Why emulate that? Why try to
Right.
emulate that? They trying to emulate everything about you. But
You know why? Because
I'm gonna leave it there and pass it around. Go ahead. You got it.
some of us have shown these women that that's what we like. Some of us have shown our young women, have shown these women that's what we shooting for. That we go out and sell all the dope in the world to get us somebody to look like that. Do you know how powerful that is, man?
Yeah.
And so some of us have to accept responsibility. And again, this goes back and this goes back, for us to, brother, we have to remember, like, that, like we have to reprogram ourselves to our likes and dislikes as well. And those things evolve. Your palate, of course, we know the palate can be formed. The palate can be, MSG, monosodium glutamate, that which is in Doritos can reform the child's palate. Keep on giving it to them. So things can be, we can have a certain taste for something, my brother. And listen, and it can be changed based on what we consuming. We consume them Caucasian women, and we showed our women that we wanted, that this is what we like. So they started emulating that even more. So we have a responsibility. I just want to say that to that sister. It's not all y'all fault. Y'all beautiful. Y'all, y'all the keepers of the culture secret. But we have failed y'all in a lot of sense. And so it's not that I tried to it wasn't a smack on the face to say that, the women is trying to be like them. Nah, man, this is a part of that process that they put on us, man. That's the white supremacy that they exacted upon us.
Real quick, bro.
It's a distraction.
Two things, bro. She's about to tap in. I'm about to have a female tap in and to talk to you about that. But another thing, because your mic went out when I kind of responded to it. Both of y'all went out, so it was me and Rosewood. And my take was this, and you can tell me how you feel about this real quick while I tap her in. But I was saying that I don't think necessarily that the women are trying to look like women of other nationalities. I think that it's more or less, it's in a woman's DNA to want to be, to want that attention, want to be revered. And I feel like, this civilization, what we have put on, what we qualify as beautiful, and what they have labeled as beautiful, it kind of may make women emulate or want to come close to that as much. You know what I'm saying? But this woman was just bringing up some interesting points to me, and I sent her a link and told her jump in. So
let her tap in. Let her tap in.
But she gonna tap in.
Hey, but listen, everybody, I ask that you'll do me a favor. Please mute your mic when a person is speaking, because I can hear all your background noise.
Yeah.
And,
definitely. My bad.
So can you real quick to that? What about that part that I said? Like, you know what I'm saying? Isn't that can we cut the?
I do believe that women have an innate ability, an innate want, drive, and feel to be beautiful, undoubtedly, right? But
what society is saying is beautiful.
Well, exactly. Well, we got to understand that goes back to white supremacist media. They put out what's beautiful. What's the standard of beauty? What's the standard of beauty? Right. White, skinny women, long blonde hair, big breasts. You know what I'm saying? Now, with the invent of the internet, we always known that everybody wants to be the way that we are. That everybody wants to follow us. So we understand this already. But since the invent of the internet and media, social media, now we can see that their children are starting to look like us. Their children are getting
thumbs up. I'm sorry to cut you off. Just give us a thumbs up when you're ready. Backstage, just give us a thumbs up when you're ready.
Okay. Yeah. So what I was saying is, their children are starting to look like us. Their children are putting on, they're injecting stuff in their lips. They're injecting stuff in their bodies and their booties to get big. You know what I'm saying? So why are our women, who is the true standard of beauty, black, coarse hair is the best hair, you could do anything with it. Why are our women trying to look like everybody else and step out and instead of just being who they are? So with that, I see the sisters has jumped in. Shalom, my sister. How you doing?
Good afternoon, gentlemen. First of all, I would like to say you guys have made some really great points. Y'all touched on a lot of good points. I actually liked a lot of points that y'all said. It was just the blonde hair thing. There's people in Africa that have blonde hair. It's black children that are born with blonde hair. My son has dark blonde hair. I agree with everything y'all said besides the blonde hair part. I don't feel that blonde hair should solidify white, because it's not. Unfortunately, that's what society has made it seem like it is. There's albino people who is pretty much born with nothing, and those is African people too. So to say that we are trying to imitate or to look like Caucasian people just because of the standard of blonde hair. I'm down for coarse hair. I'm down for everything. But to say a color specific it is to a nationality, that's not true. I know
Okay.
you guys have education, are very wise. You have education. Y'all could Google that and see that
Yes,
that's
ma'am.
not true. That blonde hair is not added to white. And
Hey,
that's the only point that y'all made that I really disagreed with.
hey, can I expound on that, please?
Sure, bro.
Yes, you can, sir.
Thank you, sister. I really appreciate you. You tapping in. And giving that input. We be needing that for real. Okay, so with the exclusion or with the exception of, maybe I should have offered that. Okay, prior to making that statement, because I want to quantify that. All right. To the exclusion of what you're talking about, with the exception of what you're talking about, if you have eyes, you can see. Now, again, I tried to offer a little bit, you know, I try to sort of do a little bit of a mental massage, in other words, soften people up to that statement. That's a very harsh statement. When I said that who we are trying to emulate, that's only based on a condition and those that have been conditioned. I'm not talking about a natural, state of a person. You know what I'm saying? But those are two different things that you just pointed out. On one end, you were talking about that there are people that are born with blonde hair, born with blue eyes, born with certain pigmentations of light skin. Right. We're not discussing those people because actually by default, that individual can't be a part of the conversation. In other words, I can't tell a person that has a natural albino, for lack of a better term, or light skin by nature, that this applies to them, or that they're trying to emulate somebody by virtue of their nature. We're not talking about that, sister. But we're talking about the person that'll go bleach their skin. We're talking about the person that'll go change their eye color. We're talking about the person that'll go change something about their natural order or their fitra, which is a term that means your natural state, in order to look like another person, because they believe in this inferiority complexity, or they're faced with an inferiority complex based on what the society has, done. So just to sort of quantify that these are two different subjects here. We can't talk about something by default. And like I say, for lack of a better term, that person that's born with blonde hair, born with fair, whatever, light skin. But there are a lot of our people, when we go to talking about those who are or have, jumped on this wave that we see in nowadays. I mean, right before our very eyes. All you have to do is open your eyes. There are a lot of us trying to emulate the very person that's oppressing them, or they've been conditioned to say that that's how you're supposed to look, or that's beauty. My daughters right now, I had to teach my daughters, and I had to take this, I had to take a strong step. One day, one of my daughters came out, I'm gonna put some lace stuff, some like half, I forgot what it's called, like a lace front in her hair, and my daughter's got Ethiopian style hair, for lack of a better term. Like they look, they wear their hair just bushed up. They don't do nothing to it, just bush it out. They ain't twisting it, putting no, nothing in it. And they are aspiring to be beautiful, by the way. But when she walked up to me and asked me that question, I'm like, who will your grandmother didn't like that? None of these type of things. And so I'm talking about the conditioning of a people, and I'm talking about the majority of our sisters. And I took some blame for it. Remember, sister, I said a lot of us have slept with these women, or have tried to, or redefine in our minds what's beautiful to us. And that can highly affect a woman. That'll make a woman, a scorned woman, that'll make her get up and probably change her hair because she wants your attention. Because she can't get no other type of attention. Yeah, so I'm talking, so we're only talking about, right. I'm not talking about the people or that particular people. Neither am I being closed-minded, or I'm not, being short-sighted. I apologize for not, sort of offering that. But no, we're talking about a certain type of people that have been conditioned, or this falling for, or this, eating off this particular plate. And it's a lot of us are doing it unconsciously, is what we're talking about.
Okay, now you're talking about something. Now I
Yeah,
agree. Now when you be specific and put to the side those people that are not
yes,
doing that, now
yes,
now I can respect what you're saying. So let's
yeah,
let's let's get to it. Now you're right. You said that some of the men are the reason why some of these women feel they gotta enhance their beauty and
yes.
change things up a little bit so that way they can keep the eye of their black brothers because they feel that their blackness isn't enough. See, now you're talking. So now what are we gonna do in order to secure our daughters and our daughters' and and even our nieces and not nephews, but our nieces? What are we gonna do to start empowering them? Because if we're allowing them just to watch what's on the TV screen or just watch that one positive person in the family, but everybody else is negative Nancy, how are we empowering them? And that's my question now, because now you're talking on a good subject. So how are we gonna bring to light the empowerment to letting our black women know that their black is beautiful?
Hey, you know what? That's why we have this conversation. Hey, listen, we hope we spoke up. Hey, listen, we hope we spark up a new leader that got the answer for us, sister. We trying to figure it out. Straight up. Because it's serious. It really is serious, and it's very important to have these conversations because it's food for thought. But yeah, again I apologize, but that's what I think that and not to I still love the sisters. I still love them. I still love them, man. There was a big event there out in Phoenix this weekend. They brought out tens and thousands of people, and there was a lot of African Americans. And you know how we get together. Hey, we get it in, but it was no violence. It was no fights. These people were in fact shocked. But I love to see the people. But when we go to talking about how we can change our conditions, I think that we have to continue to talk about unlearn and relearn. And that is where, again, that starts, even with a child. The first, the brother was talking about evil. Okay. And he was drawing a contrast between let's establish evil versus race, where, one could have come from another one, but you can oftentimes be chasing this when where in the end, it's probably going to be against, it's going to be a fight against good and evil. However, you can't ignore the fact that we have the racial issues. And so for me, I think that it really starts with you and me and the brothers that's on the phone. Like, we have to start with our own. You got to clean your own house first to the best of your ability, and then from there you start going out with the with the unlearn and relearn process. But it has to start with individual. It has to start with the individual. If my son see me doing something, he often follows me. Your daughter she see you doing something. She often follows. Hopefully, our children do that. But that's what it starts with. It starts with the individual. We have to first, deal with deal with this within ourselves, and be walking examples and so on and so forth. But yeah, it's very tough. It is, man, because
Hey, let me say something. Let me show something real quick. Hey, Sister Simmons, you there?
I'm here. I'm just on mute so y'all don't hear my background.
Okay, let me share this real quick because I want you to see this, and I want you to tell me what it means to you, please. Where is this one right here? Can you see the screen? Can you see the screen? Hey, she dropped out. All right. Well, listen. This is what it says. Let me read it to you guys. This is what it says. This is Leviticus chapter 13, verse 30. Then the priest shall see the plague, and behold, if it be in sight deeper than the skin, and there be in it a yellow thin hair, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a dry scale, even a leprous upon the head or beard. So my point of me bringing this scripture out, right? My point of me bringing this scripture out was to show that even in the scriptures, it clearly defines yellow hair as a sign of leprosy. So when we talk about when our people wearing something that is not natural to them, not natural. So we're not discussing two black people who have an albino child who has blonde hair and blue eyes. We're not discussing that. That's a totally different texture of hair, a totally different style of hair. That's something that's natural. They can't do nothing about that. But for us to take yellow hair and put it in our hair, and the Most High God just calls it leprosy, a sign of leprosy, we should not partake in that, just on a simple rudimentary level. But go ahead, I'll let somebody else grab
Okay.
the floor.
I want to say this, and that was interesting. But I want to get, because I want to round this back off. So I want to get the sister's take, right? You tapped in, I know, on just that issue, but I want to get your take on the situations with the with the police killings. We got Ma'Khia Bryant was just killed. I don't know if you seen the video. Actually, I know you did see the video, but so and that was kind of the topic that we was trying to start with, and of course, obviously, it spilled into race. You know what I'm saying? But um, let's bring it back to that. And I would like to get your, since we have a female here, a mother, right?
Sister.
I
All right.
think it's horrific. And I believe one of the brothers said that it starts with us teaching the kids. At the end of the day, we can never believe that the police, and this is no offense to the police. I have police in my family. We the police are not our friend. The police are not coming to help us. Anytime the police is called to anywhere we are, they are on high alert. So we have to be prepared for that. It's unfortunate that a kid having a kid situation, who was the one who called for help because people was at her door. Like, you know what I'm saying? The officer, now here we going for these trained professionals, that these scared nerd. Let me, because I am a mother, and
Yeah,
let me bring it down a little bit.
yeah.
These
Put me
cowards,
in the platform.
in uniform. He was on scene for 10 seconds. 10 seconds. I'm a case manager for grown men, and I have de-escalated situations that could have been detrimental to my health, with no weapon, with nothing. So I just, and again, I'm never gonna blame this kid for making a kid mistake, having a fight. People fight. Stuff happens. It's sad that our kids can't be kids, but I could watch a video of a grown man with a gun in his hand, and police is begging him to put the gun down, begging him to obey. But you don't even give this person a chance to obey. In 10 seconds, how do you even know she heard you with all the emotions that's going on as a teenager that's having a fight? This young girl who pretty much was scared for her life before the cops even came, because she had a weapon to protect herself. She wasn't knocking at people's doors, starting trouble with a weapon. So they keep saying that she had a weapon. She had a weapon in protection. She called the cops for protection. And now she's dead because these people don't know how to do their jobs when it pertains to our children. I have never seen on the news a white person get shot down for nothing. I have never seen that ever. In my 40 years of living, I have never seen that. And we're all praising, yes, the verdict's in, yes. The verdict will be in, and there will be justice for us when they stop killing our kids for nothing. It's no verdict that's gonna change that. And there's no teaching really that's gonna teach the kids how not to be normal, how not to grab Skittles, how not to walk away, how just to live, to live. Like and it's just so sad, and it's just so sad, and it's deeper than that. And actually, when you gentlemen was talking, it just put in my mind that we as a people need to start going into these schools and teaching the kids, offering programs for these kids, because if we allow unfortunately the parents, because a lot of these parents is ignorant, it starts from the inside, and we allow these parents, these communities to raise our kids, all we doing is conditioning our kids for the prison system or dead, and it's sad to say.
Hey, sister, can I say something to you, sister? I mean, because I know you did hear us talk about teaching the children. A part of the relearn and unlearn process is not sending them to school to be taught by these people. That in itself,
Yeah,
that
that
in
part.
itself, and I know I just want to say this first of all. Let me say
That
this.
part.
Let me offer a caveat. That's a lot of us can't afford to not send our children to school. All right, we in such a situation where they have to go to school to eat. I'm not saying all of us, but some of us. We talking about some of the because we talking about the people. Some of us have to send the children to school to eat, to get to get food. At least I'm aware of this in some of the hoods that I know. Some of us don't want the kids at home. Some of the kids will be raped and victimized if they stayed at home with these parents, uncles, and who knows what, brothers. It's a very, very tough situation. I want to say what she said. It's very tough. You're right. But I went to public schools. But for instance, I was not allowed to eat the food there, sister. Now, I ain't said I wasn't allowed to, but now I hated it because when I used to go to school, I'm like, yo, these niggas these brothers and sisters is eating eating these hamburgers and French fries. I got a turkey sandwich and some chips. I didn't like that. It made me sit out too much. But as I got older, I understood what my father and my parents was doing. So we do have to teach them, despite where we sending them. You still you know what I'm saying? You still, and I'll give you an example. One of my brothers went to jail when I was young. I didn't. And how he got caught up was he put aside some of the teachings that my father told him. Like, listen, man, check this out. Be aware of the fact that if you go do such and such X, Y, Z, that this is what's gonna happen. He put that aside one day that cops came, brought him home. But we still do have to teach them. If you send them into the school, you got to put them up on something. They can't, so oftentimes what I was saying is that we sending them out to get, we send them out to a war. We don't have to use the term war, but we send them out to sort of a war, and you got people looking at them like this.
A war zone. A war zone.
Check this out. And listen, I'm going to keep real. Listen, brother, this last point. I told my father, I said, listen, man, you don't approach a gorilla the same way that you approach a giraffe, right? He said, no. Straight up. You certain things, you cut the giraffe off by the leg, whatever. You can clip him if he's running. He go run from you. A gorilla. And so what these people have been programmed into about us is totally different than what you send them out there to be prepared for. Does that make sense? See, we send them outside. Hey, listen, we send them outside while we smoking, drinking, whatever we doing. Like I told the brother yesterday, I said, man, I smoke sometimes. I ain't fit for my son to be around me all the time. Not all the time. And so I would rather take my resources, my hard-earned resources, and put him in front of a monk, and I'm just using terms, monk, a well-disciplined person, a person who's vowed to maintain the straight path, whatever. He's paid professional, whatever. But man, I'm gonna tell you, man, some of us are sending them out there, man, and they're not ready, man.
Not at all.
Man. Hey, listen, man. If I touched the wrong thing when I was young, man, listen, I couldn't even bring. One time I took my hard-earned money, y'all. And went and bought a Chinese character shirt. First check I had, I was 13. My mama told me, "Do you understand what that's?" That's a lot of people thought my mother was being extreme. She said, "Can you understand what that word, what says on that shirt?" I said, no. She said, well, how you know if you weren't wearing something that's telling somebody to do something to you? I said, wow. My mama taught me to don't dress a certain way, bro, because what it can lead to, a color, what the police identifies as a young man with pants sagging. Anything. So oftentimes we let them go right out the house. We don't check them. We don't ask them, and I understand that can be tough sometimes. I understand that can create a disconnect sometimes, but we can't act like we can't teach them, man. We got to put them up on what's happening. We can't send them out there to be like it's all doves and, here you come some hawk or some eagle, man. These dudes, they coming to kill us. They coming for our kids, man.
But then that's how it's disenfranchised. It's because everybody don't have those teachers. That's when the community so not only are we have to teach our kids, we got to teach our neighbors' kids, and we got to teach any kids that come around our kids, and we got to continue to make sure that we're actively being a part of the solution and not the problem. And just to touch on what you said, sometimes we may say something out of our mouth, but we will our representation says something different. And the
Right.
kids now are going on what they see, not what you say.
Mm-hmm.
So we got
Right.
to make sure that we're actually, sorry to say, practicing what we're preaching.
Yep.
Doing what the same thing we want the kids to do, we actually have to do. We can't say, oh, don't go out there twerking and thotting and this. If I'm looking at my mom's Instagram, and she over here doing this, that, and the third. You know what I'm saying? That's the
Serious, bro.
contradiction, and that's the problem that I feel that has the kids in an uproar. Is the social media, it's the internet, it's the easy access to information that we
Yes.
didn't have as a kid.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
it's,
Let
it's
me, let me, let
opening
me,
up doors for predators for our daughters. Like
Yeah.
Atlanta, and I guess I'm just overprotective because my kid's never gone, and she's about to be 15. My daughter's never walking to the bus stop by herself. I don't give a
Yes.
shit if she's in high school. I'm walking her to the bus stop. I don't care. Like at the end of the day, wherever she go to colleges, I'm getting a place where she goes to college at
Yes.
to make sure that she's okay. Because at the end of the day, and this is sad, it's predators that prey on the innocence of people, the weak of people, the nonchalant lot of loneliness of people, because everybody don't have love, and love actually goes a long way. A child that never said I love you, a man could come up to her and say I love you, and then that's it.
Yes,
He's doing
man.
anything for that man. So
Real talk, sister. That's a fact.
it's just so deeper.
No, it's definitely
It's
deep.
sad. Sorry.
I just wanna, no, no, you're right, sister. I just wanna, add on something you're saying. Like you said, like you're overprotective. You had a right to be that way because the way the climate is right now and how it's been, period. And I think we need to really get back to like how the Black Panthers had it in the community, where we're policing our own community, we're bringing our food programs, we're doing the teaching. So when they go in school, they have a sense of self,
Exactly.
so they can determine what's the real and what's the fake for themselves, and then they can come back to community and ask those questions to the elders or the teachers in the community. And they can get the real and they can understand it. And we should be able to walk around our communities and not be afraid. Like when I come from, I'm an '80s baby, so growing up, walking to the 15th bus stop on Girard Avenue to catch a trolley, my mom wasn't like, oh no, it's predators out there. No, it was like, no, you need to hurry up and get your mind to school. Don't be
Because
late
at
going to
that
school.
time it takes a community. Everybody was looking
Right,
out for the next person. Now you say something to somebody kid, the parents want to fight you. And that's the
true,
disconnect. And
true,
that's how we are
Yes.
stronger as a people. But people don't see that. They don't see the come
true.
together. If my child's out of line, I expect anybody that see my child out of line to say my child's out of line. And then when they come back, I'm gonna tell my child they out of line. That's
Right,
what's going in today's society. Morals, values. At the end of the day, I don't take public transportation, but when I was taking public transportation, people wasn't even getting up for pregnant women, elderly people on canes. It's just a disconnect to humanity, I feel. And I
Mm.
don't want
no,
to
yeah.
blame it on the internet, but I just feel that with everything so instant, people don't care about the things that really matter.
It
Sister,
kind of, it
listen,
kind of numbs you.
hey, listen, I
It
want to say
numbs
this
you.
real quick. You said something so beautiful, sister. I'm not trying to, just reflect on you because, I just want to say this real quick. Um, what you said, people would look at as extreme, but this is how we've been taught. See, you said that you would never, ever, ever let your daughter walk out to the bus stop alone, let alone go attend some college and you ain't near her, or her brother ain't near her, or her father's not near her. Now, brothers, let me kick this real quick because I know oftentimes like we go to talking about how stuff was back in the days, thousands of years ago in Africa. But that in itself, okay, because I'm a practicing Muslim. All right. Now I ain't trying to pistol whip nobody with my faith or swing it like that. I'm a practicing Muslim. And people say that it's extreme, that when I tell them that the same thing that you just said, a Muslim, all right, a Muslim father, when his daughter is going, let's say like to the store or she's going out somewhere, she has to have an escort, not because it's predators. Oh, no. Let me take this back. Yeah, because it's predators, but it's not that particular term. It's just the fact that, let's just say the world over, anything can happen. You know, all the variables that you said. I may not, you know, I may say I love you once a week. It might be somebody out there that said every time she turned the corner. Who knows what? But that's one of the things that is strongly instituted in Islam, but looked at as an extreme. Ain't that deep? Now I'm gonna tell you something. The fact that you said it didn't even sound extreme. That sounded so beautiful coming from a woman that I'm not about to let that happen. And I told my brother yesterday, I said, brother, our civilization and our humanity has been flipped upside down. That when we got our women on bus stops and they got their women in SUVs, dropping the kid off to a program, picking them up from the program, from that instructor. They used their money in their village, they hard-earned money, they grouped it up, they created a community center. You know, when I grew up, we was Muslims going to the Jewish community center. Black Muslims, by the way, not African Muslims, not Nigerian Muslims, not Somalian Muslims. They all come over and they get their own communities. We're talking about African Americans. The majority of us find ourselves going into these different neighborhoods or these different diasporas or these different stores, you know, because we ain't set our situation up. And that's also something that we have to continue to talk about is the Africans in America. You know, that we have been stripped and, you know, made to be uncivilized. But there's been this role reversal where people look at us like we extreme because we're going to take our daughter to the bus stop. Or we go demand or command that this brother, before you come over and talk about my daughter, in Islam, you got to bring something, man. You can't just come asking for getting mines and not bring something because you're about to take something from us. So you have to bring what's called either a mar, and oftentimes you got people that's coming with 10, 20,000 to impress a family, to show that I'm worthy. And not to get caught up in the money, but the gesture in itself, because you're removing something from them, man. You're taking something from them. But we've been turned upside down, my point. And the fact that our civilization and our humanity is looked at as extreme when this woman just said something so beautiful and natural to us, that you don't let your child, not alone your daughter, don't let your son go to the bus stop without an escort, man. And some of us can't afford that, but man, you know, just to make a point, man, you know, our plight is something other and different than other people's, man. We're talking about the African in America. We're not talking about the Somalian. We're not talking about the Japanese. We're not talking about the Nigerians. You know, unfortunately, they getting caught up in some of our stuff. You know, some of the Europeans, you know, ways to selling dope, scamming, who knows, all type of stuff going on nowadays. But you know, at least they have at least some of our black groups, they have a platform or they have something that they can go back to. And, you know, whereas, you know, a lot of us are suffering from, man, this conditioning. The fact that, you know, our fathers is in jail. Our mothers is, you know, the mother is doing something else. And we got to get back to that, man. I mean, that's just my thing. You know, the whole unlearn and relearn process, the whole community, the whole village. Otherwise, man, you would never get a chance to affect humanity. And this is a serious humanitarian problem, man.
So when y'all see this video, man, y'all tap in. I definitely want you. I want to get you to right real quick, Rosewood. I just wanted to do my little commercial. When y'all watching this, y'all you know, make sure y'all follow the New Religion, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. We live every Sunday for the intellectual dialogue show every Sunday between the hours of 12 and 4. You tap in at 12. If we not live, we'll be letting you know when the show will be starting exactly between those hours. I'm hoping to build with, you know what I mean, build the culture, build the community, and we build with each other through this intellectual dialogue, hopefully help us get in a better mind frame. We lost Ma'Khia Bryant to you know, to police killing. We just got the George Floyd verdict, and it's ups and downs. It's emotional roller coaster. We're dealing with a lot of things. A lot of people want answers. People don't know how. You know what I mean? I think it's ignorance. We got Rosewood here from Philly tapping in. We people been tapped in. Rosewood, bring us home, Rosewood with everything, man.
Yeah, basically, like everybody, salute to everybody that's tapping in. Salute to you, Bonds, for even, letting me come on, express my opinion. Salute to everybody that came in and all the other calls that came in and spoke, because everybody spoke honorable things. And that's the thing about like your podcast right here, is to take away knowledge that's honorable and sturdy, is something we can use to better ourselves throughout the day. You're supposed to learn something new every day. So if we're on the path where it's positivity and we're trying to find solutions, we can have little back and forth or disagreements, but we're getting solutions or ideas for solutions. That's really the main outcome of it. And I think is really starts with digging down in the community, because like my brother said at the bottom, like the unlearn relearn process is very difficult,
Yeah.
especially when you in the cities, because it's like there's a generational gap here in the city of Philadelphia. From the old heads to the guys that's in the mid 30s to the guys that's in their mid 20s to the guys that's in their early 20s. So it's real difficult. It's a hard process, and anything that you want is worth fighting for. It's going to be hard any old way. But I think if we can keep doing platforms like yours, Bond, and keep speaking on these things, and sharing these videos, I think we can make progress as a people as a whole, and us tapping in all around the country, and especially those rural black areas, like the
Right.
cities. We're kind of a little bit united or whatever with the mindset, but those rural black areas that surrounded by all white areas, like, we need to really help those brothers and sisters out, and they probably might be in the movement, might not have the spotlight, because they're not in that certain area. So I just think it starts with the community. We gotta really be on a local and state level heavy with what we're trying to do. If we're trying to promote any type of positive action, we gotta bring a grassroots mind state on the local and state level.
Facts. And right. And all right. So and at that point, man, I want to say I definitely, Dr. Greenpen, I don't know if Prince filled you in, but every Sunday between 12 and 4, we do these discussions. So you definitely gotta, definitely gotta tap in, man, and add some of your knowledge, man. Hold on, your mic is, I can't. Oh, go ahead. Yeah. So my bad, you was muted. But yeah. So I definitely want to get you tapped in. But if you wanna if you just wanna do a little quick, 30-second sound out. We get you first, and then we get the lady. We'll save the lady next.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys just opening up this platform, man. I think it's imperative, man. Personally,
Yeah.
I think it's pertinent. We as you notice, like lately, man, the podcast been coming more and more, and I love to see that, man, because it's giving us power. You know what I mean? Versus CNN or somebody else getting, sort of getting that message out and so on and so forth. So I just want to say shout out to all of y'all. I appreciate y'all. I really appreciate the sister bringing her perspective. We need more of that, because that's, you can say what you want to say, but they're the keeper of the culture's secret. Let me give you that. The keeper of these Caucasian women, these big top. Do you notice that they don't allow their women to come out and talk? So I don't care if they saw you lynch a person in the backyard. They ain't never came out and spoke out against certain things, because they're the keeper of that culture's secret, regardless how serious it is, right? And they, our women, are the keeper of the. Not to say with all of our crimes, criminal behavior.
No, but that's the interesting aspect.
Yeah, we tapped in. So more sisters, please come. And I'd like to just see more brothers, man, get involved in this, man. We need to know what's going on. We don't know. These people are shaping our narratives, man, in these shows, man. They're giving out disinformation. We don't know. So I really appreciate the platform. I hope everybody, pops back and taps back in, man. I love this, and I appreciate Brother Ray and a couple other brothers, man, making this possible.
Definitely, sister. Yeah, just let's give some closing. You gonna give your closing remarks?
Yes, first of all, I would like to say thank you guys for your positivity. It's really powerful to see and hear, because like I said, I come from the era of it takes a community, and I thought that was far gone. Like people don't even care about their neighbor. So knowing that people still care about their neighbor and they want to see the progression of our people is very powerful. But I just want to add, um, just a takeaway for you guys, how to continue to build up these young women, these young women, so that way they don't inspire. When you see they hair in a natural state, oh, your hair ain't done, no, oh, your hair looks beautiful, oh, I love
Yeah.
your coils, look at that fro, because unfortunately sometimes that inside the household can hinder somebody from wanting to shine, because they'll come out with their fro and a parent or something like, oh, you ain't do your hair, and they took time to do that fro. You know what I'm saying? They took time to get those coils to sit like that. So it starts within the household, within the community. You see somebody with oh, your Afro puffs is awesome. Start building them up from when they're young so they can know, like, okay, I don't have to wear blonde fake hair. I don't have to wear eyelashes that make me look like I'm gonna fly for someone to acknowledge that I'm beautiful. So I'm just gonna leave it with that, and I want to say thank you guys. Stay powerful.
Thank you. Appreciate you. We appreciate everybody for coming out, man. This wasn't a regularly scheduled Sunday thing, but Prince of World called me this morning, and after he seen this the video with Makai, and just wanted to have a discussion. So we came on and had a discussion. We're gonna be doing stuff like that. So make sure y'all subscribe to the channel so y'all can catch those. You know what I mean? Thanks for coming out. In the words of Russell Simmons, Def Comedy Jam, thanks for coming out. And the Most High bless y'all. And tap in and appreciate Dr. Greenprint and everybody, Rosewood, Spill ENT. Follow them guys, they're gonna be here. And salute y'all. Peace. It's over.